Now, I have to be honest, everyone, I made a bit of a boo-boo. For some reason, my mind didn't record, and I don't know why, so I'm having to use Torn's footage, and I've just recorded audio afterwards. So this is actually after the game, and this is the ABL Season 12. Season 12, what am I on about? This is Season 3, Game 12. So this is my final game. Now, Torn is fine. He has already 8-3. I'm not. I'm currently 7-3, 7-4, and I'm... Sorry, 7-3? No, I'm 7-3 at this point. I'm not safe. So I do need to get the win to get me what I needed. Now, as I said, I'm using Torn's footage, so I'm taking my usual team, but instead of the Machamp, I have taken the Jellicent. He has taken his Dugtrio, he's taken his Copperajah, his Quagsire, his Toxtricity, Ditto, and he has brought Goodra. Now, my worry was that Goodra. Now, what I've normally set up against Torn has been the Arcanine and the Mamo. And I thought, well, don't set up that usual 2 here because he can use the Ditto, and the Ditto would be able to lower my Intimidate onto the Mamo, and it would be a pain in the arse. So this time I decided to leave with Arcanine and Sylveon. As you can see by maybe his team pick, he has gone with the Ditto and the Dugtrio, so that's worked out quite well in my favour. Now, Torn in his footage says that he doesn't really care about this match because he's kind of already through, which is fair enough. I want to try and get the best score as I can because I want to make sure I'm at least 1 or 2. If I can, I'd like to be 1 because it gives you the better rank going forward and it makes an easier draw. I say easier, everyone else can beat anyone in this thing, but it gives you a more favourable draw going forward. So we'll see how we get on in this. I'm not giving out the outcome of this because that's just pointless because obviously we want to know how we get on. So I send out Hiya and Last Stand. Now everyone keeps saying Hiya, but it's actually Hiya. He sends out Triplet and Agent Smith. So his Ditto is going to be transforming into my Sylveon, which works out quite well for me because Sylveon is choice banded. I thought I just wanted to annihilate this thing as quick as I could. So he goes for a high horsepower into my Mamoswine, and I've actually not watched the footage from his side yet. So it's actually, I was wondering what he was going to be going for. And Dugtrio, I think in Mamoswine should still survive this regardless. I decided to go for the Ice Shard. My Mamoswine is choice Scarfed. That was the phone vibrating, I apologise. So I use Icicle Crash. Icicle Crash goes onto the Dugtrio, and as we know, Triplets, his Dugtrio does have a Focus Band, so Focus Sash, sorry, and he get the flinch, and I thought that's happy days, I've got the flinch. Now, with his EV being quicker, it obviously means he's got a Choice Scarf on that, and I managed to nearly do over half his health on his Sylveon, now Sylveon, and get rid of his Dugtrio, so that's a massive threat gone. At this stage, he is bringing out his... I think he brings out... Do you bring Copperajah? I'm not sure who he brings out here. I can't remember, to be honest. I was already feeling quite good at that position. Who does he bring out? Come on, who is it? Who is it that comes out? Yeah, I actually honestly can't remember. See, it's been that while ago since I brought it out. I think it is. He does bring out the Toxtricity. Which is not good for me at this stage. It would be good, but Mamoswine is locked into Icicle Ice Crash. Oh no, see, this is I can't remember. He brings in Quagsire. Yeah, that's what I remember. So he brings in Quagsire, which is great because I want to get Quagsire out early. Quagsire was the reason that I lost last time. If you had seen the last match, I had Araquanid, Dusclops, and the Jellicent all against the Quagsire, but they couldn't do any damage because it just kept using Water Absorb, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. So with Sylveon, I think I've already done a big threat getting rid of what I needed to, and I know another Dazzling Gleam will get rid of the Dazzling Gleam, and your Hyper Voice will get rid of his Ditto, and it'll do a lot of damage to his Quagsire. So I withdraw the Mamoswine. I want to try and bring it in for later on to serve on the Toxtricity, and I bring in Dusclops. So then I confirm it does have a Choice Scarf. He uses Hyper Voice, so he's just on over halfway to my Sylveon. Have this back, Sunshine, and that gets rid of his Ditto, and that nearly gets rid of his Quagsire. So Quagsire's go after the Liquidation. It goes after Dusclops, but Dusclops is going to take that like an absolute champ. It does have a defense drop, so that means it's going to lose damage next turn. So I'm already 2-0, so I'm thinking that's, I'm in a good position at the moment. It was, to be fair, it was a good position to be in. So he brings out his Copper-Raja, and I always am happy when I bring out this Copper-Raja. I've done it every time with the Copper-Raja, and I bring it in a good time. I think that's again, if I bring it in late game, this thing is more of a threat, but as I've got more of the tools to deal damage to it, I'm going to feel in a much better position. So he does go for the Dynamax straight away. The main reason I'm happy that I can bring it in early is because I can use the Arcanine to lower its attack. I can use Burns to lower things' attack and make it pretty useless. And Copper-Raja has never been the threat it could be in any of the games I've played against it. So I use Hyper Voice, and that's the simple reason, because A, I can get rid of the Quagsire, and B, Sylveon's done what it needs to do. It's done what it needs to do. I know there's a Goodra in the back, I understand that, but the thing is, I've been able to get rid of Goodra with Araquanid. Araquanid's so powerful, been able to do it, and he couldn't get rid of Dusclops with his Max Steel Spike, so the Trick Room's up. And he knows he hates the Trick Room. Now I know that he's got Pokemon which do like being in Trick Room, but I've got Pokemon who like it even more. So he brings in his Legend now. And as I said, I know there's no point with Sylveon. Sylveon's done what it needed to do. So he goes for a Hyper Voice. No, he goes for the Sludge Bomb. He wants to try and get rid of the Sylveon. Does he go for a Sludge Bomb? This is, again, I can't remember. No, I think he goes for an Overdrive. I think he does. As I drink water at the moment. I think he does go for an Overdrive. And he goes, what do you see? This is what happened. This is what happens when you can't remember. I can't remember even what I did. I think I switch at this point. I think switch and bring in Arcanine. That'll be the sensible play. It is, and I go for the burn on from the Dusclops. So the Intimidate goes on to his Zing, and the Will-O-Wisp, as always, it hits, and that now effectively makes Copper-Raja useless. It's now, as an attacking threat, it's terrible. I do lose Dusclops, but again, Dusclops has done exactly what it needed to do. It has done what it needs to do, which I was happy with. So he uses Overdrive. That does a lot of damage. But at this point I should have realised it shouldn't have done that much damage. But then I think why? Then think, oh, it's Choice Specs. So I didn't actually click at this point. It was Choice Specs. Had I clicked, it was Choice Specs. I probably could have finished the game here. I could have brought Mamoswine back into the fold and then just finish it with high horsepower. But I didn't. I wasn't sure what it had. Looking back, I know that from now on, if it's doing that much damage, it's definitely Choice Specs. So I could have really done some even more damage. Should have brought Mamoswine back in at this point. That should have been the play. I don't do that. I actually bring in Jellicent, which is the wrong play. Because I thought, I might be able to do a bit of damage with a Water Spout. And it's actually the first time I've been able to actually use Water Spout, but I thought, I can probably get rid of both of these with a lot of damage for a Water Spout. But in reality, it really was the wrong play. High horsepower was the right play. So he goes on the attack because he knows he's got nothing to lose at this point. He really hasn't. And I'm just going to use a Helping Hand. That's just to boost Water Sprout even more. This is my intention of using Water Sprout. Let's see how Water Spout. What's a Water Sprout? So Max Quake goes into my Arcanine, and that will not even finish it off. So that's what I mean. That's how weak that Copper-Raja has now become, and how useless it is. So I'm not even wanting to. I don't care if it gets a special defense drop. I don't really care. I know it does give a boost for this, but my main thing is I'm getting rid of it for later on. So I'm going to save for later on because Araquanid will just finish it in one. Hot Dog is now gone. Miss Pringle is now dead, but now it can't even use Overdrive anymore, which again I should have clicked on, but I didn't. I should have not clicked. I should have realised this is well over now. I could have brought in Mamoswine again. I could have brought in Mamoswine at this point and used Icicle Crash, and that would have finished everything up. But I thought, I've got Your Funeral, let's have some fun with this. And now Your Funeral, I know, is in a position where you can just wipe out everything. I wasn't concerned at this point. So with Miss Pringle, I go for a Strength Tap. That's just to get my health back. And I go after the... What do I go after now? I go after the Toxtricity because I want it out of the game. I do want it out of the game because it is a problem. And he brings in Goodra. I do love Goodra. Don't get me wrong, I do love a Goodra. Your Funeral's back on the attack. He's not happy that Copper Raja took it over in the kills. He's not happy about that at all. He wants to get that sorted. He wants to get his score back up. This thing's hardly been killed. Still a monster. Still the monster, and did not get picked and drafted into the ABL minors, which I think is a freaking disgrace. So Max Geyser, that's going on to the Goodra. It's not going to kill it. You may think, oh, I said earlier it does. Well, it does if it's got the rain and if it is helping handed, which it was when the last time I played it, and it just annihilated it. So Stone Edge goes into the Araquanid, it does absolutely nothing. I use Strength Sap to make Copper Raja even more useless, but the good thing, because it does have a high attack anyway, I can get most of my health back. So boom, there's the health back. Now I'm at an interesting stage here because Trick Room is still up. And I know, from my thinking was, Trick Room's still up, okay. Now, I've got to think who's actually faster here. Is it the Toxtricity, or is it in fact the Araquanid? And then on looking at it, the Toxtricity is faster than the Araquanid. So, my actual thought process here is, hang on, if I actually kill one of those two, which I would with my next move, then when the Toxtricity comes back in, the Trick Room is going to be over. And when Trick Room is over, then that Toxtricity is going to be able to wipe out the rest of this team with absolute ease. So I decide to max guard, and you'll see why I'm going to be doing that in a second. So he uses Stone Edge again. He goes for the Toxtricity. So he goes for the Araquanid. He also uses Strength. I use Strength Sap again just to fully make sure my health is back to normal. And here you go. I think the Thunderbolt goes into the Araquanid as well. Doesn't matter who it goes into, to be honest. Oh no, it does go into the Miss Pringle. So Miss Pringle takes it. It doesn't even do over half. Now this is what I was planning for. So now the Trick Room is going to end. The Twisted Dimensions return to normal. So at this point, if Toxtricity was now in, he'd wipe out both my team. He'd wipe them both out. No problem at all. The Choice Specs Overdrive would finish it off. So this is why I had to keep both his Pokemon in, who I know are not going to be able to finish off Araquanid, or they're not going to finish off Jellicent. Either way, he goes after the Araquanid, which is great for me, and because of that, it means that that Jellicent is left completely to its own devices. I go after Max Geyser, and this time I will go after the Goodra and get rid of it, only because Goodra has Thunderbolt, so I just want to make sure it's gone. So Goodra is out the way, and that leaves Jellicent completely open to use a Trick Room, and that just means I'm in control again for the rest of this game. And it means, because I realise now that his Overdrive, his Toxtricity is Specs, I've now figured this out, that I can just get rid of it this turn and not have to worry about it. And I know it's going to go down. Although my Dynamax is going to be ending this turn, I will finish it off this turn because Liquidation is still a ridiculously powerful move, especially in the rain, especially with Water Bubble, and especially with Mystic Water. So there's a lot of things there to just destroy it. So he goes after the Araquanid again. Again, I'm still. He's had that Copper Raja out for so long, and I'm just not. I don't care about it. The longer it stays in, the better, because it's so useless. It's -3 in attack, and it's burnt. It's so useless. It's dead. That's why I like Faking Copper Raja, because it's just not been a threat to me in this tournament whatsoever. I say that, I'll probably fight it again, and it will wipe me out. So I'll get rid of Toxtricity, and that's the end of and Liquidation finishes that off. I'm happy at this stage because I know I'm safe. I think I've got, I know I've got this match won at this point. I use Strength Sap again to make it even more useless, but it's also just to make sure I can keep Jellicent alive, and I can keep my score up, because I want to make sure you get the highest win ratio you can. So, and annoyingly, although Torn did laugh and say, good luck fighting the Quagsire again, even if we got to a situation where it was these two versus the Quagsire, I would have won. I know what I'm doing against that Quagsire now. I've got plenty of counters to get rid of that Quagsire now. I use Liquidation again, and that goes on to the Copper Raja and gets rid of it. So it's a happy days from me. I end up winning 4-0. 4-0, and that takes me through to the playoffs with 8-3. The next round, or round 10, I don't know what's happening with that yet, and the playoffs are coming soon. So I've been HBT. Bye bye.